Yeah. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh. Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. Ba'asham Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder bishops. To the priests. The teachers. The evangelists. And the four winds of the earth. Teaching in truth and sincerity. Risking your lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect. The elect. Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel, through your family, through your father, and come back to the fold. To you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson. And this is RT News. It says Russian and foreign and foreign Soviet Union says West is doing to Ukraine what was done to the indigenous Americans, right? And indigenous Americans is what they call Indians, right? North American Indians, right? The indigenous Americans, right? And what did they do to them? They basically they wiped them out almost completely, right? And that's what they basically calling this right here. This was published 23rd of April, right? 2024, right? It says the gang in Kiev is erasing, right? They're dropping bodies left and right over there in Kiev and what you call Ukraine. The countrymen, the Russian foreign minister spokeswoman claims. She said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you, they're wiping them out, and they're wiping them out bad, like pretty much like they did the Native Americans, right? Which they Native American, which is another way of saying indigenous, right? Right. So, right, because if you're indigenous, there's no way Christopher Columbus discovered America, right? Or the land, which they in turn called America after America Vespucci, right? So they said they're wiping those boys out, man. That this war is hot and heavy, and they don't have what it takes to come against Russia. So they're just wiping them out. You know what I mean? Almost. She said almost to extinction, basically, because it's damn near what they did to Gad, right? So when you think of that, what is that? That's basically, yeah. So that's basically what Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 16. Thus are filled with shame for glory. See, so for them as a foreign country to bring up what they did, the West did to the Native Americans or the indigenous Americans, that's basically they're bringing up their shame. And instead of, their whole thing was, this is our land, this is manifest destiny. But in turn, you're coming to the end of your rulership, right? And now, instead of that glory that you had, that pride that you had about, your manifest destiny is now shame, right? That's why you wanted to try to change some of the books and try to change some wording and narrative type ways about slavery and about all sorts of different things. You know, try to change slavery to indigent servants when that was far from the truth, right? I mean, you did so many movies about it. It's ridiculous, right? I mean, it's well documented. I mean, you can fool a bunch of simpletons, but we know that we're those people through Deuteronomy 28:68, right? So it says, drink thus also, right? And that's what the Lord said. Anyway, He said, you have the golden cup. You're the golden cup in the Lord's hand, but you're gonna drink. You're gonna drink of that same cup, right? It says, drink thus also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. See, now the whole perspective of the West, right? America, NATO, EU, right? Well, just made America and NATO, because the EU is just part of their monetary, their money system, right? But the NATO is their part of their military, but their main military is dealing with America, right? The hammer of the whole earth, right? But you're going down. You're about to be cut asunder, right? It says, now you're being exposed. Let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh, right? The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee. See, now what is this? Those curses that were upon the Israelites are starting to turn and be upon you, right? Those strongholds that you had, right? Because for battle, for war, strongholds are crucial. But once you lose a stronghold, it's hard to win a battle, because you need a spot where, as the enemy comes, you're just knocking them down. Boom, 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 boom. You're knocking them down. You're exacerbating them. You're leaving them exhausted and taking them out. But instead, it's the opposite right now, right? It says, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. See, and for them to mention the indigenous Americans, which is what they call Native American, that is basically shameful spewing. And they're speaking of your efforts in this war in Ukraine, and it's basically null and void, right? It's not happening the way you intended, right? Yeah. So it says, Kiev's pol- poli- policies will result in the extinction of Ukrainians, right? Extinction, right? So these boys are getting wiped out, man, in this war on behalf of its Western puppet master. See what I mean about the shameful spewing? That is shameful spewing, man. Right? That's not a thing of respect. And especially in the time, it was who can make war with them, right? Once upon a time, it was who can make war with them, right? And now it's, hey, these boys are getting to the point of extinction, man. Says a Russian foreign minister spokeswoman Mary Zaharova has claimed. Yeah, it says the Ukrainian foreign minister intends to deny all consular services abroad to male citizens ages 18 to 60 expect except for preparing documents to return to Ukraine. Local media reported on Monday, citing the ministry internal correspondence. To lock in, yeah, correspondence. Yeah, it says the policy is presumably meant to force men of fighting age to leave foreign nations and be conscripted into military service under new mobilization law signed by President Vladimir Zelensky this month. Yeah, it says the people are being erased by Western elites and their executioners in Ukraine. Zelensky and his pseudo Ukrainian gang. Wow. Zaharova said on Tuesday, reacting to the news. See, hey, that's shameful spewing, man. This is a woman, and then she's a reporter. She looked at this and heard the news that this guy's gonna recruit more men and basically force them to come back to their country to fight. She just laughed at it, man. She claimed that the Ukrainian governments have been in power since 2014, U.S. backed armed coup in Kiev pressed posed as nationalist. Their policies come from people who historically have nothing to do with the country. See, yeah, and you don't want nobody to be there who have nothing to do with your country, don't know about your values, your moral values, things that you care about, the memories, the history, the historical buildings. You don't want those people to come and be the ones who's making policies, right? But that's the case for some. Yeah. So this is also on RT News. It says Ukraine has lost almost 500,000 troops. See, and that's what they're saying. She's the lady was basically laughing at it. They're just gonna get wiped out like the Indians. It's basically what she said, like the Native Americans, the indigenous Americans. They're getting wiped out to a high degree, right? It says Russia Defense Minister Sergei That's what's beautiful. Shoigu, Sergei Shoigu, has shared the latest estimations of Ukraine's battlefield casualties. Right? It says right here, it says Ukrainian military lost since February of 2020 have reached almost 500,000, right? 500,000, which is about a 500,000, right? That's what he's saying. He's educated guesstimation, right? Which they're probably pretty close to it, right? Russian Defense Minister, Sergei Shoigu, claimed on Tuesday. Yes, it says Russian forces have the initiative on the front line and are pushing back their opponents. Shoigu told a ministerial meeting the pressure prevents Kiev's troops from holding on to their defensive position, he added. Yeah, it says the defense minister also added America's expected allegation of over $60 billion in military assistance for Kiev. He noted that the move is intended to prevent the collapse of Ukrainian forces, but predicted that the money will not is not significantly impact will not significantly impact the situation on the battlefield, since most of the funding will go to U.S. military production, right? So basically, he's almost saying like they're saying it's going to Ukraine, but really they are using the money to beef up their military, but you know it's not still not significant enough, right? Says the American authorities cynically stated that Ukrainians, or whatever how you say it, will be dying in the fight with Russia for their interests. Sergu or Shogu stated officials in both Washington and Kiev have argued that paying Ukraine to fight Russia is preferable to the U.S. having to fight Russia directly. Yeah. So it says this is Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 6, and it says, "Shall not all these take up a parable against him?" Right. So this is so they basically, they said, oh, it's basically like how they did the indigenous Americans. They're getting wiped out like the indigenous Americans, and they prefer the Ukrainians to fight instead of the U.S. facing Russia directly themselves. Right? It's far greater for them to spend this $60 billion towards them than them fighting Russia directly. Right? Right. So it says
Parable.
parable. It says a simple story used to illustrate a moral or spiritual lesson. Right, as told by Yahushua in the Gospels. Right, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, because that's BS. But yeah. So what are you getting morally or spiritually out of them saying they're being wiped out like the indigenous Americans? Right? What are you getting from that? Right? You're getting shameful spewing. Not only were you responsible for killing the Israelites and damn near wiping them out, here you are in this war against the Russians, and they're using your shame to explain how you're being done this very day in your own battle, in your own war that you're paying $60 billion for, right? Yeah, so we can come right here to the blue letter, this Hebrew interlinear, this transliterated, right, from the English to the Hebrew. And we're going to see what it means in the Hebrew for for parable.
Strong's H4912. Mashal. Mashal.
Mashal. This proverb or parable. Proverb or proverb says by word. Poem. Parable. Let's see if we got something else, because that's not nothing too significant. Okay.
Strong's H4910. Mashal. Mashal.
Shall. To rule, having dominion, or reign, right? To cause to rule. To exercise dominion. Mm. So we seen this definition. It's like a short story, a wise saying to morally let you know, but it also went into, in the Hebrew, goes into it being of a rulership or dominion, you know. So it says, shall not all those that take up a parable of these the person that's in rule, because you're in rule. Esau's in this dominion. You're in your rulership against him, right? So all these other people Everybody's saying something against you, and a taunting proverb, right? So gonna taunt you, right? Yeah. So it says
Proverb.
proverb. So we basically know what taunting means. It means to, and that's kind of what that is. What they were doing, they were taunting them. Oh yeah, they're being wiped out, like the indigenous Americans. Like, so a way of like taunting them. But also you're taunting the Most High to bring up the Israelites, right? Which that's what it is. That's Gad, Reuben and Gad, right? Really, and you could say Ephraim, Issachar, because they will be part of that indigenous Americans, right? So it says a short pifty pit pifty, saying a general use, starting a general stating a general truth, or a piece of advice.
Pithy.
A piffy. That's crazy. A piffy. So a piffy, a short piffy story, like a short, pretty much what it was saying about um, parable, right? A short piffy story, right? Right, but this is the taunting, right? Because it basically told a story of what of the Israelites being destroyed by these Edomites, and in a short piffy where they were what taunting them, right? Says against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, right? See, and now you're getting to that short story, or short piffy, whatever they said, basically short story that gives you what a little bit of wisdom, or at least morally, or a little bit of wisdom on some type of level. So it's saying, he that increases what that which is what not his. How long? And to him that layeth himself with thick clay. So when you're sending $60 billion over to a place, and it's not having an effect on the war, but you go, hey, let's send 60 more billion, or let's go send 100 more billion. It didn't help when you send the 60 billion before, and the other whatever billion that you sent before that, it has not been helping your efforts. But your thing is, hey, I'd rather it be you guys on the battlefield than the U.S. on the battlefield. So we'll pay for you guys to keep fighting, right? We'll fund your war because they're coming there to attack you. That should have nothing to do with the United States, but it does as far as having your foothold in certain places where you can have a position into conquering the world. Everything is positioning, right? You gotta have your foot in the right place, so that way you can shoot your missiles and your things to deter other places not to come against you, especially when you're pushing your new world order, which a lot of that is going to come into play with, you know, you're just deceiving yourself, right? Because it says that they're all going to lay a wound under you. That's why they're taking up this taunting proverb, right? Right? Saying, shall they not rise up suddenly? See, so all these nations, all these things, they're gonna all suddenly rise up. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee. See, Russia, Iran, even the countries that you think is on your side. I mean, even Saudi Arabia have showed that, because they've been flip flopping between this and that, and they're showing you that all these countries, they're gonna flip on you, man. Right? And awake that shall vex thee, and see, and that's ultimately what Russia's doing. Russia's already awoken to the point that they're vexing you, because that's the one who's making that taunting proverb, right? That, and thus shall be for booty unto them, right? Money, cash, right? You're gonna be nothing, right? Because thus has spoiled many nations. See, that's all America does. You go around, you spoil many nations, and all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. See? And ultimately, maybe even those Ukrainians will wake up and say, you know what? We don't give a damn how much money you funded to help us. We're going to go with our best interest. And our best interest at this point is we might as well fight you. Because we're being wiped out like the indigenous Americans. We might as well fight you and then survive, repopulate our place, and hey, might as well just go ahead and go in with the Russians. Right? No, those are your native countrymen anyway. Somebody might just, hey, you know what? Why would we fight them? You know, and come against you, right? Because thus has spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of man's blood, right? See, there's a lot of over half a million dead Ukrainians. That's a lot of blood. And for the violence of the land and of the city, right? Kiev, the city Kiev that they're trying to hold on to, with a half a million dead Ukrainians, and they prefer it to be Ukrainians and not Americans, and all that dwell therein. See, all that dwell over there in Ukraine. Hey, you're getting wiped out, man. You're a taunting proverb now, because they're using the proverb against our brothers, which is you know, the Israelites, right? I'm just gonna say the northern kingdom, right? Because it'll be Ephraim, Manasseh, you know, Gad, Issachar, Reuben. These are the proverb that they're taking against our brother, and really, you're really laughing, and you're mocking the Lord. So really, Russia. That's why the Lord said what, that he's to prophesied against Gog, right? Yeah. So this is Ezekiel 38, right, and 3, and he and said, right, which is talking about the Most High Yahweh. Matter of fact, it says I start at 1. It says, and the word of Yahweh, right, which is all caps, which mean Yahweh, the Most High, came unto me, saying, so this is Yahweh, right, but the Lord comes through his only begotten Son, which is Yahweh Shai, and the angels. So just because it says just Yahweh right there doesn't mean it doesn't apply Yahweh Shai. So you know, so Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai, saying, Son of man, right, which is talking to Ezekiel, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, right? So right, so it's Gog in the land of Magog, right? The land of Magog. So that land is Magog, but they're talking about them being Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesied against him, and say, thus saith the Lord, right? right? This is where Yahweh Shai comes in, right? Because it's not in all caps, right? The Lord out of one, right? Which is Yahweh Shai. And then saying power, right? With Elohim's power, but it's in all caps. So it's letting you know that the power is coming from the Most High, right? He's giving them the authority, the angels, giving the angels the authority to implement things upon the earth. It says, behold, right? Which means to look, pay attention, feast your eyes upon. I am against thee, O Gog, right? Right? It's not talking about Gog and Magog. No, they're just Gog, right? That's what I say. The Lord said, prophesy against Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, right? Which those were Japhetic, you know, peoples. But of course, these Edomites conquered and took over, and that's why you see Vladimir Putin, what will be perceived to be an Edomite, right? And all the Russian people seem to be Edomites. There's Jakes over there, but I mean, I understand people say that the Russian people have a different vibe than the rest of the Edomites, but there's 5 tribes to Esau, so they've done the things that Edom do. Cause where are the? I mean, you're saying this thing, pray to so-called Black Jesus, right? But when you show things about Russia on TV, where are the so-called black people at? Where are those Israelites that people call black people, right? You will get a funny notion that anytime they show things on TV on the television, right? That there's no so-called black people who are Israelites in China, Japan, Russia, because that ain't what they show. But we know that we are in every place in the earth, right? So the Lord is going to judge you, right? It's a joke to laugh about Gad, or to make a funny reference, or even a taunting proverb against Israel. I will say just the northern kingdom. It's not just Gad. It was just the northern kingdom, just in general, because they went to the island of Espanola, and where Ephraim was at too first, actually, when Cristobal Colon came to this place, right, destroying our brethren. And I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaw. See, the Lord is not pleased with you. And one way of judging you is war, man. Put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy armies, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of what armor, right? Prepare yourself for war, for battle, man. Even a great company with buckler and with shields, all of them holding swords. And the modern day sword is the gun, the tanks, the missiles, the drones, the what are they got direct energy weapons, they got laser guns, right? They got all these different things. Persia, which we know Persia is modern day Iran now, right? Which they've been bumping heads with Israel, which this is it's along that time of prophecy. Ethiopia, because Ethiopia just joined the so-called BRICS nations, Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet, right, preparing themselves for war, right? Because and they're not gonna be counted innocent, right? Yeah, so you're not gonna be counted innocent, so you're gonna go to war, and you're overall in that war, right? Since you want to laugh about and make a, you know, make like you're making a joke or a funny reference, or however you meant it to be. It doesn't even matter. You brought up the northern kingdom basically. So the Lord is going to wipe you out worse than the northern kingdom, since you're opening your mouth. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto Gog a place there, a of graves. See, hey, see, you're talking about how the indigenous people got wiped out in Americas. Hey, the Lord is gonna give you a grave, man. Give you graves, right? You're gonna get wiped out completely. In Israel, in the valley of the passengers, on the east of the sea, and it shall stop the noise, the nose of the passengers, and there shall they bury Gog. Right, you're gonna be dead, man. So you're laughing about how they tried to wipe out the indigenous peoples of America, which would happen to be Israelites. See, you don't know who you're taunting. You're taunting the power who is their God, man. The power who who created them to worship Him and to be unto them kings and priests, right? It ain't no joke, right? Even though it makes these Edomites on this side a taunting proverb, but laughing stock. They got that shameful spewing that you would mention it that way, and in a time where they're being also destroyed, right? In this so-called grave battle. So it says, and they bury Gog and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Hamongog, right? You're gonna get wiped out worse than indigenous people, right? Opening your mouth, it's a joke, right? Yeah. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, right? Woe means what? Destruction, right? It says with violence have you taken a place, so thus with violence shall you fall. With great violence shall you fall, right? Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 18, verse 21. A mighty angel, right, which is, Yahushai, took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea. And the sea is talking about people, the sea of people, saying, thus with violence shall that great city, Babylon, right, which is America, right, Babel being confusion, the city of confusion, be thrown down, and thus, right, because this was thus with violence shall that great city, Babylon, be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all, right? Because you took, how did you get America? You did it with violence. It says, woe unto the bloody city, right? Right? So, because we're talking about that shameful spewing, right? Because Babylon the Great, which is America, the shameful spewing, the taunting proverbs, because they're making a taunting proverb of how you did the Native Americans, and this, right, goes into it. Says, woe unto him that buildeth a town with blood, right? And how did you establish your towns? your 13 colonies, right? And establish a city by iniquity. Philadelphia, New York, Pennsylvania, right? So-called Washington D.C. How did you establish these places, man? You establish them by iniquity, right? You were not only did you kill the natives, which are Israelites, by the way. You did by all sorts of iniquities, right? Because the according to the law, you're supposed to not eat eagles, right? And you damn near wiped out all the eagles in America, but I mean, you think you were just shooting them? A lot of time you were eating those things, right? You're supposed to have a land Sabbath, right? You didn't do a land Sabbath, right? You just iniquity on top of iniquity. When you killed Jake, there's in the scriptures you're not supposed to allow the body to hang until evening and not have the body in the grave. You're not supposed to let a body hang all day all night in the way that you devils have did it, man. Eating Jake, you were eating Jake, right? And on top of you eating a person, you were probably most likely barely searing it, so you could eat the blood thereof, right? When you're not supposed to eat your meat with blood, right? So, hey man, you establish this by iniquity. Behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. It is it is it not of Yahweh? Is it not of Yahweh of hosts, right? Which means armies, that the people shall labor in very fire, right? Under these harsh conditions, slavery. Then if you when you kind of so-called did away with slavery, but it really wasn't. It was just you took slave from being a slave at with chains and things to it's being what to the banks, making them slave to the banks or to the corporation called America, right? And now you're talking about taking it to the next level of being slaves, enslaved into the world, right? To the universal basic income, right? With the charagma, right? Because that thick clay, that abatyat, which is debt, right? Yeah, because I forgot to mention that abatyat means debt. That thick clay means debt. So you laid on that thick debt, and now that thick debt is so thick that you have to lay it upon the people to get them to get the charagma, so they labor themselves in very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity, right? Just hey, now things just which not to mention they were doing it in the first place, chasing the so-called American dream. It's vanity, right? Because the Lord said this world is passing away, and you could tell that it's passing away because all the morals, the things that it used to have, right? Um, oh yeah. Let's not forget about the VS, the Christmas, or things like that. None of that, even that, don't even feel right, right? The mirth of this place is being taken away. So you know that it's just the Lord said this place it's waxing away, right? the mirth don't even seem right anymore. It says, what was I at? Yeah, the labor and very fire, vanity. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, as the water cover the sea. And seeing the more that the word of the Lord goes out and in the correct fashion, people are not, they realize that Christmas was BS. Easter, all these things were BS, even though you still push it on some type of level. And there's plenty of jakes that still follow that stuff, celebrating their birthdays. There's plenty of Israelites and people that's starting to wake up. There's things that's happening. The knowledge with Vladimir Putin is pushing and showing that the true image of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, who the ignorant call Jesus Christ, is a so-called black man. If you would call it that, then that's an ignorant term, because there's no such thing as black people, right? Right? We're the Israelites, and then you're either Hamites or you're you're Elam or whatever thing that you come from, right? Because those East Indians, which is Elam, they're very dark people, and some of them are what you would call black. If you look at how dark their skin is, I can say that person's a black man, but because he's I didn't walk him to 7-Eleven. Now he's not black because he got a red dot on his head and got this accent. He can't be black. No, his skin tone is a dark color skin. He's black. If we want to go that far, right? It doesn't make sense. So there's no such thing as black people. You are who your father is, right? And we're the Israelites. So that's just what that is. And the knowledge of the Lord is covering the earth, and it's changing the opinions and the situations that's on this earth. And also what causing that World War III. Because now they're realizing they know they got but a short time. It's only a little while longer before our Lord Yahweh Shai shows up. Woe unto them, right? So it's going to be destruction to you. As soon as our big brother, our king shows up, it's going to be woe unto them that giveth his neighbor drink, right? These different philosophies, these lies, following the so-called Christian morals and things, telling you that the laws is done away with. You know what I mean? Tell you don't remember what happened to you. Oh, that was so long ago. But then we can remember whatever happened to them. Oh, wait, you can't say that. That's the Holocaust. That's Pearl Harbor. That's 9/11. That's whatever else they want you to remember about. That's the 4th of July. Right? We have to remember their things. Right? But forget about your things. We don't care about your plight. We don't care about what you're going through. Yep. And putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thus may it look upon his nakedness. And so, right, nakedness was being not actually naked, just being what caught off guard, right? Lauren Hill said it in the thing, miseducation. You miseducated us. You re-educated us. The thing called Indian schools. You would separate the younger Native Americans and put them into a school, cut off their hair, and teach them to be more like you. And then now that they are, a lot of these homosexual ways and these what is it called, Stockholm syndrome ways. Now they're in love with the person who destroyed them and pushed them off into a reservation, man. All right. So With all that, I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because this is basically what it is. It's just it's showing that people know the history of Babylon the Great. Matter of fact, hold on. Yeah, so this is I'm gonna end with this is Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon, which that's talking about America. Round about all ye that bendeth the bow, right? It's talking about the nuclear asylums, missiles, things that's gonna make this place the lake of fire, right? Fervent heat shall melt. You know, it's gonna melt the firmament. It's gonna. I'm not the firmament. It's gonna melt the elements with the fervent heat. It's gonna melt all the elements with fervent heat, right? And it says, oh, matter of fact, it's gonna feel like it's melting the oxygen because it said it can. Those missiles are gonna hit, and it actually sucks the air out of the atmosphere. Why it's also simultaneously blowing up with a heat that's hotter than the sun. So it's gonna make this place the lake of fire, right? It says round up, yeah, Babylon round about all ye that been at the bow, shoot at her, right? Shoot. All the missiles are gonna shoot upon America. Spare no arrow, right? Which is talking about the nuclear missiles. For she have sinned against Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shout against her round about. She has given her hand. She have given her hand. Her foundation is fallen. Her walls are thrown down. See, it's gonna have a time. America's gonna be thrown down, but Russia is gonna be thrown down too. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a little bit later for Russia, but it's still gonna happen. Things are gonna go. It's gonna go at a rapid pace. It's gonna seem like it's back to back, which it kind of is basically. But her walls thrown down, for it is the vengeance. Ooh, see, of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash, take vengeance upon her, as she have done, do unto her. Right? She shot down. She threw. Was it America? Drop the Fat Boy and Little Man on Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and then there were other strategic places that they they blew up and shot down and did all sorts of things. Shot down bunker busters and this and that, and all sorts of weapons that they even sometimes they'll fight wars just so they can use newly created weapons as a testing ground, right? So you got to do unto her as she has done, right? Test those nuclear missiles out. Test them new energy weapons and your new laser weapons on Babylon the Great, which is America, right? So with all that, I'm going to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, the elder bishops in Connecticut, the priests, the teachers, the evangelists, the brothers in the four winds, preaching the truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. And Abba Ball.